Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear student and viewers. Today we will discuss the scientific research design step 10 data analysis. As you know that the research process for the basic and applied research step 6 scientific research designs, and further we described and explained the scientific research design process. The scientific research design process based on basically in three main areas: detail of study, measurement and data analysis. Alhamdulillah, today we will discuss a data analysis box and take the complete overview and complete discussion about three areas of data analysis: field for data, goodness of data and hypothesis testing. You have seen a complete mechanism, a complete process from data collection to the research question answered, and where the data analysis exists from the process starting from data collection to research question answered. But today our concern about the data analysis. The data analysis is consists of basically in three main areas and based on three elements. You can say that the three main elements. First, field for data. You have seen in the box field for data and goodness of data and hypothesis testing. And when we talk about the field for data mean and standard deviations, correlation, frequency and distribution of the variables. The goodness of data, here we check the reliability and the validity of our data regarding to our variable. And last element of the data analysis is hypothesis testing, appropriate statistical manipulations. And here we follow the complete hypothesis testing process. One by one we discuss the each steps and each element of the data analysis. The first element, field for data; second is the goodness of data; and last element of the data analysis is hypothesis testing. Data analysis, field for data, goodness of data and hypothesis testing. There are three main elements of the data analysis. Here we take the descriptive overview of each element of the data analysis. Field for data, the measurements of central tendency, dispersion, distribution, intercorrelation of the variable to deduct the correctness bias out of the range of data. Here the researchers take the measures according to the mean, medians and standard deviations and variance, and apply a statistical tools and statistical formula for the goodness of data. Starting the next steps is the goodness of data. Goodness of data is reliability analysis, crown batch alpha coefficient closer to the 1. As you know that the higher internal consistency, reliability of the items of the measures. Basically, goodness of data is checked. A main check is the goodness of data, meaning is that the researchers check the reliability and the validity of our data regarding to our variables. This is the overview of the goodness of data. There is a complete process of the goodness of data. Goodness of data starting from validity of the data and the reliability of the data. When the researcher want to check the reliability of their data is the stability, consistency. And if we go to the stability, test of retest reliability, parallel form reliability, and when we want to check the consistency of our data on basis of the reliability, internal consistency, split half reliability. When the researcher want to check the validity of the data, logical validity content, also we call it content validity, criterion related validity, congruent validity. And when we're talking about the logical validity, content validity, face validity and criterion validity, predictive, concurrent and convergent is also be part of congruent validity and discriminant validity. These are all different types of validity. The basic is the three main types of the validity of the data: content validity, criterion validity and concurrent validity. And here we as the researchers are basically checked a validity of the data and the reliability of the data, and that is called the goodness of data. Inshallah, we take a complete lectures and videos only for goodness of data. Here we only taken a overview of a goodness of data. Here we are studied as the part of the data analysis of the goodness of data. But later, inshallah, in the next video, we will be make a comprehensive video on the goodness of data. Hypothesis testing is the third part element of the data analysis. Examine the crown batch alpha for the measures. Before testing the hypothesis, the researchers are measures the crown batch alpha for the measurement of the data. Examine the data. Frequency distribution of the variables, mean, median distributions, and coefficient variance. Describe the mean, standard deviations, measures. All things are measured by the researcher. Pearson's correlation coefficient also be checked, and finally the researchers are use the statistical tools according to the requirement of their result, the requirement of their studies, and finally the researcher has received a hypothesis result, maybe accepted hypothesis or not accepted, H0 and null hypothesis. There are only two cases. But in case of quantitative approach of methodology of data, we have taken the numbering, and we count in the number in the quantitative approach. But when we adopt a researcher adopt a qualitative approach, basically they take more inside information about the people's emotions, belief, and trust. Then we go for a qualitative data. But in case of quantitative data and in quantitative data, the researcher checked the hypothesis, and result of the hypothesis we show that their hypothesis of the researcher is accepted or not accepted. Hypothesis testing, here you have seen the two formulas and the two testing of t-test formula and z-test formula. Basically here the purpose of here you have seen here is a mathematical presentation of our hypothesis testing, where the H0 is accepted and H null hypothesis. In case of your hypothesis is accepted, it means 95% of your hypothesis and your data is accepted for your hypothesis, your relationship and your correlationship is accepted as a hypothesis statement. Here for one dimensions and multi-dimension you are used a different statistical formula, but here you have seen a z-test hypothesis testing formula and t-test hypothesis testing formula. Now come to the complete overview where we starting, and we discuss all the things. As you know that we starting from data collection, and in the data collection to the answer to the questions, and data analysis process is content of getting the data, feel for data, and hypothesis and goodness of data. But in this lecture we have only discussed is feel for data, goodness of data, and hypothesis of testing. But before going to the data analysis process, we have available ready data for the data analysis, editing the data, incompleteness of omissions, inconsistencies, legibilities, coding the data, categorizing, creating the data files, and coding the different codes and decoding the codings. All things are done before starting a data analysis, and that purified data are we use for mean, median, mode, variance, and frequency distributions feel for data part. And goodness of data, the researchers check the reliability and validity. And hypothesis testing basically is the inferential statistic. Basically is the statistic we use here, the statistical tools for known about either our hypothesis is accepted or not accepted, and appropriate statistical manipulations are used here. If our hypothesis is accepted, means the hypothesis statement is true, is accepted on the basis of quantitative data, and after applying the statistical formula like the t-test, like Pearson test and z-test, and as per your requirement of your study. All about is the data analysis process. Data analysis process is starting from getting the data, feel for data, goodness of data, and hypothesis testing, and after that interpretation of the result, discussion and recommendation of your research. That's all about. Here you have seen a complete data analysis process overview, and before that we one by one we already discussed all element of a data analysis. Next, dear viewers and dear student, in today, as you know that our second module of scientific research design is complete today, and inshallah our next module will be start in the next video. In the next lecture is the research process module 3, series of lectures videos on data collection methods. As you know that we have starting the same pattern of this module, like that research process, like that scientific research design. No, that one is our third module regarding to the data collection methods. Thank you for watching, and thank you for watching our whole modules based on scientific research designs. If you want to learn more and more, you should go our check our videos, watch our videos and lecture, and enabling yourself to understand, create a better understanding about the scientific research design, to go through our all 10 videos based on scientific research design. Now next, I recommend you must be watch our next module videos and lectures based on data collection methods. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.